Okay, so here's one additional problem that you could use to solve using laws of angles or rules of angles to solve for unknowns. So we look at this one here. We have this angle here, these lines here. We have this one. This says it's 72 degrees there. This one is 1, so it's going to be the measure of angle 1. We're going to try to figure that out. And then 2 as well. And this one tells us, looks like this one up here is 40 degrees. The measure of angle, this one right here, is 10x minus 24. And then this angle is 8y minus 62. Okay, so you probably want to tackle the easiest one. Okay, so these are some angles when you add them together. They would make a straight line, and that would make that equal to 180 degrees, the whole thing, right? So if we want to know the measure of angle 1, the total is going to be 180, so we would just take and go 180 minus 72. That's going to give us 108 degrees. So if we want to know this one, it's 108 degrees. Then measure of angle 2, a little bit harder one. A couple ways we can look at it. We can say, in fact, we'll come back to 2. And what we'll do is we'll look at this next one. It's a little bit easier. And so we can say that this one is 40 degrees, right? Or wait, this angle up here is 40. This one's 90. So then we can kind of assume that this one is equal to 90 as well. And then we can solve for that. 10x minus 24 equals 90. We'll do that right here. So 10x minus 24 equals 90. We're going to go 10x. We're going to add 24 to both sides. It's going to be, what is it going to be? Minus 20. Yeah, 24, 114, and then divide by 10, divide by 10, x is going to be 11.4 is what that's going to be, okay? And then, so that tells us the value of x, 11.4, and then if we want to find the measure of angle 2, that's kind of our last one, and there's a couple of things we can do here. If we know the measure of angle 1, we could then say, if we add this one, and we go the other way, so we go another angle this way, we know that that's going to be 90 degrees, right? Or I'm sorry, 180 degrees. So then, if we know that this angle 1 is equal to 108 degrees, we just need to minus 108 from 180, so we'll do that next. So if we just go 108 minus, or 180 minus 108, and that's going to give us like 72 degrees. Okay, so that would then tell us this angle right here, and then we could solve for y. So we know the angle's worth 72 degrees. Let's go over here, 72 degrees. Then we can also figure out what y is. 8y minus 16 equals 72 degrees. We're going to add 16 to both sides. This is going to be 88. We'll divide by 8. Y is going to be 11. That's kind of how you solve all those. So in the end, when we look back at it, let me show you a different one here. So here is one here. So then we know that y equals 11. We know that this angle equals 72 degrees. We know that this one is 108 degrees. And we know that then we need to actually do measure of angle 2, because we haven't actually done that. So, but what we could do is we could figure out, if we now know this one is 72, and this whole thing here should be 180, right? Then we know that this angle plus 40 plus 72 equals 180. We could do that. So last part here would be, so 40 plus 72 plus x equals 180. So then we would have 112 plus x equals 180. Then we'd minus 112 from both sides. And we get x equals 68 degrees. So this angle right here is 68 degrees. And that should be it for all of them. So we put that in for 2. Actually did that on the other one here. Measure of angle 2. That would just give us 68 degrees, and then y is equal to 11. And that's kind of a good example. I hope that helps you understand these problems, how to do them. Just look for things that you know and use them to solve for things that you don't know. Let me know if you have any more questions. I'll do another one.